I just got a raise at work, and I've been sort of treating myself and rewarding myself with a bunch of books. So I'm just going to make a video, of them, a book haul. So let's get into it. Gaddafi and the Libyan Revolution. This book is from the 80s. And I've just read that it actually is it's a cool book. Yeah, 1987. 1 year older than me. I've heard that this just was a good book to read because it, especially from the time, it's not just, Gaddafi was crazy. He was a menace. It does go over things that you could say were good for the people of Libya that he did. So, more nuanced, I guess. I don't know. I'm not trying to make a stand or anything. Ibn al-Arabi, Fusus al-Hikam. I got this because I've been reading, I have the biography, the Claude Abbas biography of Ibn Arabi. And I've been reading it, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just get this. I got a raise. This was expensive. This was like $40. I don't know. I don't plan to read it the whole way through. It's more of just I kind of will be flipping through it and stuff. But there's that. The Shoemaker, Anatomy of a Psychotic. This is about Joseph Callinger, who was... Joseph Callinger. He's not a serial killer. Maybe you could say he is, because I think he killed more than one person or more than two. But he was also just a psychotic, meaning he suffered from psychosis. He, I believe he was taking orders from a floating brain that he called Charlie. And this involved, I think he killed one of his own kids, and he cut off his penis or something like that. But so I was reading a book. It's like a textbook about serial killers, and this book was cited in it. And then on Amazon, you could only get a couple copies, and they were really expensive. But then this finally just showed up, and it was a cheap paperback. So I got this. It's kind of long. I'll try to fit this in at some point. It's written by the author of Sybil, which was the very influential book from, I think, the 70s about multiple personality disorder. I mentioned in my other video I did about, the books that I read in 2021. There's a book called The Osiris Complex, which is a really good book about multiple personality disorders. I would read that if you're interested in that. Understanding the Four Madhabs, Abd al-Hakim Murad, Timothy Winters. This was just it's basically just an essay. I think it's only 30 pages, and it's broken into 2 parts, just explaining the Four Madhabs. I plan, hopefully, to make a video about this, like a podcast. This is next on the list. Another Ibn Arabi, on the mysteries of fasting. Should have gotten this earlier for Ramadan, but I bought this with a gift card that someone gave me when I got a promotion. So this was one of the ones I got because I'm like, oh, it's free, why not? And in the biography that I'm reading, Claude Abbas constantly is mentioning the Futuhat. So got that one. 1 second, I gotta drop the phone because I just remembered another book that I can see out of the corner of my eye. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, the book about the madhabs reminded me that I also got for myself, right when I got a raise, the Epistola and Legal Theory, Ash-Shafi'i, one of the 4 madhabs. Of course, Library of Arabic Literature, beautiful hardcover, bilingual text, awesome stuff, lots of cool titles. I have a bunch of these. Yeah, I mean, hopefully one day I can read them all. But, Yeah, just forewarned, there are no vowels, or if there are, it's very rare. They do the stacking of the letters sometimes, which I was reading the Principles of Sufism last night by Aisha al-Ba'uniya, and I was stumbling over this word, bijanatin, in gardens, because they stacked the ba, the jim, and the noon, and me personally, the stacking sometimes gets a little, nasakhat, gets a little, difficult. But, the more you read, easier it gets. Another library of Arabic literature. This one just came out. Just came to me. I'm also pretty sure it was just released. Ayn al-Qudat, The Essence of Reality, a defense of philosophical Sufism. Much shorter. I think this one is like 100 short chapters. Here, like, chapter on God-given knowledge. I know there's a chapter on the limits of the intellect, stuff like that. True nature of causation. Again, bilingual. This was like 30-something bucks. The Shafi'i was, this was used, but it's like brand new. $20. This is a $40 book, so literally there's no markings, no dog-eared pages, nothing. This was a good deal. This I got with the gift card. Shia Islam, an introduction. I follow, I'm Sunni, but yeah, I just figured I'd read a little bit about Shia Islam. Again, free book. This was with a gift card, may as well. Let's see. This was the last one I got with the gift card. Embracing the Divine Feminine, Finding God Through the Ecstasy of Physical Love, The Song of Songs. I read some of this in a digital copy, and I was, really digging it. So I'm like, hey, for free with the gift card, I'll get the actual book, because this is how the book is set up. You got, the Song of Songs and the footnotes on this page. It's basically, hopefully I'm doing it justice by saying it's a Kabbalistic interpretation of the Song of Songs. I love this kind of stuff. Skylight Illuminations, I talked about some of their books in the video, podcast, whatever, about just all the books I read, because I read one of theirs on the Zohar. I also have the Book of Job, Ecclesiastes, and I bought the Book of Mormon too, because I've just never read it, but it's just like selections. I've read a little bit out of their Hildegard of Bingen one. These are just nice books. They're pretty affordably priced. They're like $15. You can get them used for like $9 sometimes. They have Rumi, Al-Ghazali, for as far as Islam. But yeah, fun, cool books. All right. Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath Party. This was a book that I had in my Amazon cart for a while, but it was like $30. And then all of a sudden I saw one, it went down to like $6 or $8. And this book is in great condition. So, not disappointed with this. This one I don't see myself getting to for some time, just because I'm very interested in other stuff. So we'll see if and when I, read that. I plan to, but if I do, I'm sure I'll be talking about it. Okay, now to the expensive stuff. Persian. I bought Essimil. So Essimil, if you don't know, is a French language learning thing. They have this program. I hear so many good things about Essimil, and for years I've wanted to just get one. This was like $125. It comes with this book, with these lessons. Let's see if I can find, where's lesson number 1? Just to give you an idea. So you have to know French. I think you can get these in English, but I figured what a better way to learn a new language and also just keep using my French. So first lesson here. You get the Persian on this page, just a couple simple sample sentences. Mardamad, Mardabdad, and then it tells you it means, Mardamad, the man came. Mardabdad, the man gave water. And then it proceeds. It came with some CDs, so you can learn the pronunciation. And what else did it come with? It came with a thumb drive, I think. So here's the CDs and a thumb drive and the book. So we're going to be doing that. Also, this I got because I started taking the train again. I figured, kill some time. I've done this a few times in life. I've bought these books. This is, again, Assimil. It's in French, but it's how to write Chinese characters. These are just fun. I just, I don't plan to learn Chinese, really, but I do like just learning how to write these characters, stroke order. And then it's cool to just be able to recognize some characters that you see once in a while. Who knows? If you go through a Chinatown in your, area, or if you just are on YouTube and you just see some Chinese video or something like that, it's just fun. I love this kind of stuff. It's just also a really interesting writing system. So figured this was like half off too. So I'm like, screw it, let's go for it. We'll see what happens with that. And the last book that just came the other day, Evan C. Connell, Alchemic Journals. I just finished his book, The Diary of a Rapist. This guy just seems pretty interesting. He writes, I've read it said that he just writes what he wants. And to give you an idea of what that might mean, he wrote The Diary of a Rapist, which is basically a year in the life of a man who slowly, he just gets more and more angry with his life, and he rapes someone, and then he lives, with the rape and justifying it in his mind. A really interesting, bizarre book that was pretty cool to read. I like unique things like that. And it's also like this. This is it's a book written in the voices of, Paracelsus, a famous old alchemist, then like a novice to alchemy, and a professor of alchemy or something like that. So there's like 6 to 8 different voices that are written in here. Just sounded like a very interesting, bizarre book, He also has written like biographies. I think he wrote a biography of Custer, General Custer, and he wrote like a 3-part novel called, I think it's Mr. Bridge, then the second one is Mrs. Bridge. So just to give you an idea of what I mean by he writes what he wants. He writes different things, He writes in voices, he writes novels, he writes biographies. Interesting guy. I plan to look more into him. Evan Connell. So that's all I have. There's one book that I'm waiting on. It's another, if you've listened to the books I read in 2021, you'll know I have an interest in Hinduism and asceticism. So I'm waiting on a book that is supposed to be a pretty good sort of, it's a book about sadhus in India, but a certain sect. Naga Babas, I think? I don't know. It's been a while since, the book is taking forever to get here, so it's been a while since I read, the synopsis of it, and as you can see, I'm busy with other books. But anyways, that's that. Hopefully, some stuff in the pipeline. I'm reading another Al-Ghazali book that I plan to do a video on, or I'm sorry, a podcast, but I upload them as videos. The 4 Madhabs, and just some random other stuff, including like this, a book haul, and then we'll see what else comes. But yeah, barakallahu feekum, jazakumullahu khairan, and peace out.